A warm welcome to all the viewers. Today's session of Tourism and Hospitality Research, we will be talking about how to detect unengaged responses in SPSS. That means whenever you have collected the data based on a survey questionnaire, you need to investigate that whether the responses gathered by you are valid or not. Unengaged responses basically mean that the respondent has not paid due attention or read your questions properly to understand them before answering them or before marking them on the given response sheet. Say for an instance, you have provided him with questionnaire items which are to be marked upon Likkert's 5-point scale from 1 to 5, and the respondent is not paying any attention to the questions, not even reading the questions properly, but for the sake of answering the questions, he or she might have entered the same response for all the questionnaire items. This is known as unengaged responses. This could lead to an outlier in your data. So how can we identify such cases? Let us go to SPSS and see it. This is the part of the video on understanding data screening in SPSS. If you haven't watched that video, I would recommend you to go back to the playlist and watch that video in which I have spoken about 4 essential steps of data screening in SPSS. Now we are at the 4th step, which is unengaged response. This is examined through the standard deviation. What is standard deviation? Standard deviation measures the spread of data points around the mean value. It basically measures how far are the data points from the mean value or the average value of all the data points. We can do it in MS Excel also through standard deviation.p function, or we can compute the variable SD in SPSS. So when we compute these variables, we need to see that any of the readings which is coming below 0.25, that is an indicator of an unengaged response. So let us see how to do it in SPSS. So this is our data sheet wherein we have the same variables which we are discussing throughout all the videos. FQ stands for food quality, CA for culture authenticity, SQ for service quality, VM for value for money, and BI for behavior intention of tourists. Now, all of these latent variables are marked upon Likert 5-point scale, and each has 4 items or 4 observed variables. You can see here FQ1 to FQ4, CA1 to CA4, SQ1 to SQ4, VM1 to VM4, and BI1 to BI4. Now what I need to do, I need to go to transform, compute variable, and herein I will type standard deviation STDEV, and from this list I'll select all, and I have to select standard deviation function, that is SD. So I'm looking for SD. So this is SD. You see here, it returns the standard deviation of its arguments that have valid non-missing values. So you have to take care that your data sheet does not have any of the missing values. That's why we first screened the data for any of the missing values. We also screened the data for the outliers, which I have explained in the previous videos. This function requires 2 or more arguments which must be numeric. You can specify a minimum number of valid arguments for this function to be evaluated. So I click on this SD, which is standard deviation, and here in this question mark, what I need to put? I need to put all my variables which are marked upon Likert 5-point scale. So for that purpose, I'll take FQ1, insert FQ1, then comma, FQ2. This is the way I'll keep on entering all of my variables. FQ3, comma, FQ4, comma. So I have to enter all of these observed variables from FQ1 till BI4. So here you see I have entered all of my observed variables from FQ1 to BI4. Take care that we do not have to enter any of the social demographic variables because they are measured on a nominal scale. Here we are entering all those items which were measured on Likert 5-point scale. So I click on OK and go back to the data sheet. This will give me the standard deviation you see here, STDEV. So let me arrange it in descending order. So you see here, standard deviation 1.60. So I told you if any of these is below 0.25, then that is an unengaged response. So let us go till the end. We have 150 respondents. So let us check them. So you see here, yes, we got them. These are the unengaged responses. So you see here 0.22, 0.22, 0.22, 0.22, 0.22, 0.00. So all of these are unengaged responses because the value of standard deviation is below 0.25. So let us check them out. What are their case numbers and see them. So you see here, let us take an example of one of them. The lowest one, this is row number 150. Let us check it. Case ID is 149. So this is the row number. This is the case ID. Case ID is put by you for easy identification of the respondents. The respondent number 149. Let us see. So you see here, it's quite evident that respondent number 149 has given the response on FQ1, 2, 3, 4, all as 4444. And then CA1, CA2, CA3, CA4. Again, he or she has given the response as 4444. So it's all the same till BI4. This indicates an unengaged response. And similar thing we will see for all other. So now what is the remedy for these unengaged responses? We need to remove these cases, remove these respondents from the data sheet for an effective analysis. We cannot go ahead with these respondents. So we can clear them out. So what I need to do? I just select them like this and press right and do the clearance. I delete them by pressing clear. So that will erase all these respondents whose standard deviation was below 0.25. I hope the video was quite informative and useful for you. Do share it with your friends and faculty colleagues. See you with some great content next time. Till then, keep learning, keep watching for more. Thanks a lot.